what has been increasingly typical of the current US administration, there came fresh clarification on the recent announcement raising the fees on H-1B visas multifold. Within less than 2 days, there was, if not a partial U-turn, but several significant changes. So, while you all already probably know the details, we will summarize them for you and then analyze this in depth in a style unique to India Business Insights. We will discuss the impact on India more than the impact on the US. What could be the immediate implications? How could this play out in medium and long term? What should be India's playbook to deal with this situation? On the 19th September, breaking news. The US has announced a $100,000 annual fee on every H-1B visa. Is this the end of the India's tech dream in America? Or the beginning of India's biggest homegrown tech boom? Today we unpack the facts, the history, the economics, and what to do next. Welcome back to India Business Insights. You may have already heard about this shocking announcement from Trump administration. We will explore in depth this issue, its likely impact, and what could be India should play this out. What just happened? On September 19, 2025, the White House unveiled a $100,000 annual fee per H-1B. Officials said this would reduce demand and push companies to train US grads. Media across AP, Reuters, and others report widespread legal questions about whether an administration can impose so large a fee without Congress. Expect court challenges and months of uncertainty. This isn't India specific. The fee applies to all nationalities, but it hits Indians hardest because roughly 73% of approvals in FY 2023 were for India-born professionals. Now the US administration has clarified on the 21st September. Item, what it is as clear today. Fee amount, $100,000 one time, earlier annual wording was corrected. Who it applies to, new H-1B petitions going forward, prospective, not retroactive. Existing H-1Bs/renewals, not covered. Travel for current holders is described as safe. Legal instrument/framing, presidential proclamation that restricts entry of certain H-1B non-immigrants unless a $100K payment accompanies/supplements the petition. Effective 12:01 AM EDT, September 21, 2025. Exceptions, potential national interest exceptions, details pending agency guidance. Employer notes, big tech/government/press memos advise caution on international travel while procedures settle. Who pays, when, and how? Traditionally, petition fees are employer-borne. The proclamation's language indicates the payment must accompany or supplement the petition for covered entries. Expect law firm guidance on change of status versus consular cases, cap subject versus cap exempt, and documentation to show at visa stamping or CBP. Early legal alerts are already flagging these points. Immediate impact versus last week's panic. Switching from an annual idea to a one-time fee substantially lowers long-run cost, but ₹100,000 upfront is still a big filter. Startups, universities, and hospitals are price-sensitive. They will file only for mission-critical roles or seek exceptions. Large tech/finance can pay, but will re-ask. Can this be done in India, EU, Japan, Singapore, or Canada instead? That means more offshoring/nearshoring and careful triage of entry-level petitions. So, what is the H-1B in 1 minute? The H-1B is America's work visa for specialty occupations, jobs that normally require a bachelor's degree or higher. It's not only software engineers, doctors, researchers, architects, finance quads also qualify. Employers attest to paying the prevailing wage via a labor condition application. Most approvals flow to STEM roles. How big is the Indian footprint in H-1B and beyond? In recent years, Indians have dominated H-1B approvals. About 3/4 of new approvals in FY 2023 were India-born. Meanwhile, the Indian professional diaspora is diversifying. European Union Blue Card. In 2023, the EU issued 89,000 blue cards and India led with 21,000, about 24% of the total. Germany holds the lion's share. France and the Netherlands are rising. United Kingdom. Home Office data show Indian nationals were the largest recipient of work visas in 2025, even as total UK work visas fell in 2024 with tighter regulations. France. Indian volumes are rising on talent passport / French tech routes. France reported a strong 2024 visa year with Indians among top recipients. Japan. As of December 2024, about 54K Indian nationals lived in Japan, many in IT and engineering with steady growth. Students, OPT, and the pipeline. Beyond work visas, India is now the #1 source of international students in the US. 331,602 Indians were in US higher ed in 2023/24, according to the IIE's Open Doors report. Many feed into optional practical training, OPT, a gateway to H-1B. If the ₹100K fee sticks, some STEM master's candidates will reconsider the US, nudging flows to the EU, Canada, Japan, and Singapore. Why H-1B existed in the first place? Congress designed H-1B to fill skill gaps in specialty roles and keep US firms competitive, with wage protections to avoid undercutting. Over time, studies show mixed outcomes at the firm level, but at the city/sector level, more high-skill visas are generally linked to higher patenting and innovation. Bottom line, the stated intent was expertise and competitiveness, not a cheap labor pipeline. Remittances. Can India handle a US shock? India is the world's remittance champion, $120 in 2023 per World Bank, with the RBI surveys showing the US now contributes 27.7% of inward remittances, up from 23.4% a few years ago as flows shifted from the Gulf to advanced economies. If the H-1B pipeline slows, remittance growth could soften. But India's sources are now more diversified. US, UK, Singapore, Canada, Australia, and overall inflows kept rising into FY 25. If India restricted US-bound skill migration, could India conserve talent by restricting US-bound migration? Hard bans or quotas would be legally fraught and leaky. Smarter options that democracies use are service bonds tied to publicly funded seats, example medical/PhD, return of service scholarships with a buyout, or tax-neutral re-entry incentives. The better play makes staying in India the higher utility choice through labs, grants, and GCC-friendly rules, rather than trying to block exits. Who get hit first if the $100K stands? Startups and universities are most price sensitive. Many simply won't file. Hospitals use H-1B for physicians will struggle to recruit. Big tech can afford the fee but will push more work offshore or to nearshore locations. Net effect in the US, fewer foreign STEM hires and slower innovation, something even mainstream reporting flags. In India, onset roles dip, but GCCs, global capability centers, and R&D footprints expand. The diversification play. If the US door narrows, other doors open. Germany/EU Blue Card. Indians are the #1 recipients. Streamlined rules, family work rights, and salary thresholds that align with mid-senior tech roles. Great for AI, auto, med devices. France, talent passport/French tech. A clear track for senior engineers, founders, and researchers. Strong growth in Indian inflows in 2024, great for aerospace, climate tech, fintech. UK, still a hub for finance, AI, and healthcare. Indians remain the top work visa nationality, though overall grants fell in 2024. Great for global client access. Japan HSP and Singapore EP/1 Pass. Purpose built to attract senior engineers, product managers, and researchers. Japan's Indian community crossed 54K by end 2024. Great for robotics, embedded systems, HQ roles. What Indian companies should do now? Number 1. Offshore first delivery. Shift more work to India. Reserve H1B filings for mission critical roles. Number 2. Tri-hub resourcing. India core plus EU/Japan/Singapore satellites for on-site needs. Canada as North America bridge. Number 3. Visa mix. Wherever appropriate, use L1 intra-company and O1 extraordinary ability for critical hires. Number 4. Bonded L&D. Fund masters/PhDs for high potential employees with retention bonuses and fair buyouts. Number 5. Domestic R&D incentives. Lean into Indian state/central schemes. Invest in GPU/EDA access, internal labs and patenting. What New Delhi can do? Incentives, super deductions for R&D payroll, fast-track GCC campuses with spouse work rights, expand PhD/postdoc fellowships in AI/semis/biotech. Mobility diversification, bilateral corridors with Germany/France/Japan/Singapore for 50 to 75K high-skill slots, mutual recognition of credentials. Buffers, upgrade NRE/FCNR products, activate diaspora bonds, keep remittance rails low cost via UPI tie-ups. Students and families, practical advice. Students, keep the US in the mix but apply in parallel to Germany/France/Canada/Japan/Singapore. The OPT window remains valuable even as costs rise. India sent 331K students in 2023/24. Momentum is strong, but the ROI calculus is changing for some. Families, if a spouse depends on H4 EAD, track rule changes, build a Plan B location. Finance, remittances should remain resilient, but households that relied on a US H1B path should stress test budgets for 12 to 18 months. Sensitivity quick take. 3 scenarios if the fee survives court challenges. Mild, H1B filings drop 10 to 15%. US work shifts modestly offshore. India's GCC hiring rises. Moderate, 25 to 40% drop. Startups and universities lose the most. More EU/Japan/Singapore routing. Severe, 50% plus drop. H1B becomes a senior-only instrument. Canada/EU absorb a chunk. Indian remittance growth slows, but domestic R&D and wages rise. Every time immigration narrows, innovation relocates. If the US keeps the $100K toll, the global map tilts. More R&D in India, more Indians in EU/Japan/Singapore, and a new offshoring wave. The challenge and opportunity for India is to turn brain drain into brain deposit, build labs, back students, and make staying extraordinary. Drop your questions below. Do you see this as a setback or India's inflection point? Like, share, and subscribe for our follow-up on company-level tactics. For such deep insights on current business topics, keep coming back to India Business Insights. In case you haven't subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing and sharing this with a friend. Meanwhile, we will be doing another video on the rise of GCCs and another video on the playbook for setting up a GCC. In case of further interest in knowing how to set up a GCC, particularly if you are a small company, please contact us at the given email address.